What's going on, my friends? It's just me, the turn on the camera and talk dude, Chris. So, something's come to mind, so I'm turning on the camera and going to talk about it. Actually, it's kind of cool. I think my last video, maybe it was, one before I talked about I really wanted to start sampling more, and when it comes to mine, I try to do it. I definitely need to get better at it. I think it's something that really helps in creating different and unique tracks. I think it's important if you do production music, especially. I really do. But you know, sampling is important in other genres of music. I think hip hop is one that comes to mind. That sampling is big. You just have to be, again, careful what you do on this. But my thing is, I'm wanting to record my own samples. So I happened to be doing my laundry the other day, sitting there waiting for the cycle to finish. I don't know why I was standing there. I could be doing something else, but I was like, you know, I'm gonna sample the spin cycle of the washing machine. So I did that, and I'm trying to incorporate it in this tension track that I'm doing, and it may work in one part. I thought it was going to work from the beginning. However, I will play what I sampled, and then I'll play you what I put in the Omnisphere, and I put it in the granular and some reverb and delay on it. Kind of sounds similar, but it has that granular effect that kind of helps it a lot. So, what did I use? 7 here. Here's the initial sample of. Basically, I just took my iPhone. It's amazing the quality of what you can do with your iPhone, and then you can clean it up and do whatever. So here's I had to bring them in, and then I had to put them in the DAW and convert them to 24-bit 48K, because make sure all your samples that you record or you get are that, for the reason that if you put them in Omnisphere, they have to be 24-bit 48K. They have to be at that bit and that resolution. So it's just a very loud, rough-sounding washer, even though it's a brand-new washer. Washing machines just sound like that. But that's the initial recording of it. Hopefully you heard it. Sounds like a train going down the tracks is what it sounds like. Like when it comes past you, you know, it's kind of what it sounds like. So what I did is I put it in, let's go over here. I put it in Omnisphere here. Let's see here, washing machine. And this is what it sounds like when I put it in Omnisphere. I put some granular synth on it. Kind of messed, you know, I think what I'm starting to see, and there are guys that are so much better than me than this, and I really need to dive into it more, that orb feature in Omnisphere where you can move the orb around. And what it does is it has a dice feature where you can roll the dice and kind of gives you different settings and different ways to tweak it. And I have to get under the hood further to find out what's going on. And I think you can also edit that and do your own patches on that deal. You can also do, I think, your own granular patches and build those as well. I know you can do your own ARP and a lot of other stuff in Omnisphere. It's just, it doesn't look like it when you bring up the interface, but it's so much under the hood. It's incredible, the Omnisphere. But I just started moving it around a little bit and started getting kind of where I wanted it to be. And this is basically if it plays right, this is where it ended up. Hold on, this is where it ended up. Still kind of sounds like a train, but it's granulated and it's slower and it's reverb and delay on it. Kind of carrying, not much delay, kind of an echo, reverb and echo, so it doesn't really delay, so to speak. And I could actually go further with that and do a lot of other things. I could put layers up under it. You can layer in Omnisphere, which I think is cool. But I tried to put it in the beginning of the track with what I wanted to do with this track. This is the beginning of it, if I can. Hang on one second here. Let's go back. Here's the beginning of it. I think it would have been too distracting to this track here if I would have put it in there. Too much noise. But if I create a different part in the breakdown part, I think it would fit. I think layering a lot of these drones that are low, that are trying to get a lot of that in there, and then bringing in this, and then bringing in a lot of that, and then the other drone comes in. So the key here is just kind of, I think it's layering, but bringing in 4 to 8 bars and just kind of building on that, the interest of that track. It's very important in production music anyway, when they're looking at, as I say, it's hard, but it's not hard in the sense of you have to, in the structure, understand that when an editor listens to that stuff, and I've said this before and so many people have, is that they're wanting progression. They want it to go somewhere and take it to another part in, and then kind of bring it down, and then bring it back to a big finale. That also depends on what you're doing. I mean, if you're doing extreme minimal tension, which is much more minimal than what I'm doing here, there's not a whole lot of movement. I mean, you got things added, but there's not even a whole lot of, you got 1 or 2 notes, almost just intervals, basically. Note intervals is what you have. If you listen to a lot of stuff that Trent Reznor has done, and a lot of these other guys for these movies and stuff, you're writing for that scene. You're just trying to really fit that, the tone of that scene that gives you that eerie feeling, you know. We're basically, as they say, and I've said it myself, and so has Dave Croft and many others, we're just complimenting it. We're, you know, the assistant to the scene. We're the guys that really don't get the notoriety. And the thing is if somebody noticed the music before the scene, it's distracted the scene. Either the editor or the composer hasn't done their job correctly. So, like I say, this type of music is not for everybody. It really isn't. And that's okay. I love it. I love doing it. I love writing music, period. But I'm going to see what I can add in on this thing and add into the breakdown part. And it might, there's always something you can add with that, because that's basically all that is a drone. It's just a white noise drone, that washing machine sample. You've just created a white noise, a drone, you can layer it with under another drone and a pulse synth, and just kind of carry it for about 4 bars, and then bring in something else to take it on out, that 8-bar part. So the struggle is real, my friends. You know how it is. But you know, recording my own samples, it's you never know what you're going to stumble across. I've done some pretty cool stuff, but there are guys that have done a much more incredible job than I have, and I'd love to learn from them. There's so much to learn about doing this, and God, so much to learn about putting it in Omnisphere and doing it. But you don't necessarily have to put this stuff into Omnisphere either, my friends. You can edit it and do it and drag. I showed one time where you just stretch and cut and stretch and add effects and do different things, and you can change the key. But just, you know, no matter what you do, make sure that you make that sample your own, because you don't want to get yourself in any trouble. That's one of the biggest topics, talking about production music, and huge topics. It's always at the production music conference. These supervisors and these libraries are always talking about this. And you wouldn't believe that the smallest of things that they've gotten caught heat over, you know, you wouldn't believe it. That, you know, and they are so nervous about this and so protective. They're like, even vocal chants that you get off of Splice, these vocal chants, they've heard, they can go, wait a minute, did you do your own or is that off Splice? It's almost impossible to make a call on that one, but they are trying to be very cautious on that deal, and you can't blame them on that, because it's gotten so bad. It really has. So anyway, hopefully that helps. Hopefully it's helping me. We'll see. I got a lot to learn on that deal. Chime in for any cool tips, because I'm always into learning on that deal, but we'll see where this ends up on this track. It's kind of cool. Anyway, I wanted to share that. I appreciate you for watching. I'm going to jump off here. And if it ends up being something cool, I may throw up a little short and just kind of show you what it sounded like, you know, that one part. I can't play the whole track or anything, because it's going to a library that I can't really be putting a lot of that on on the internet. So anyway, I'm off, and I will talk to you on the next one. Thank you so much. Be cool. Bye.